Hello people, welcome to IWPC 316. We're here to review last night's WWE Royal Rumble pay-per-view event. And Brian, say what you want. People are talking about it. It is the most talked about Royal Rumble that I can certainly remember. But not for the right reasons.
Yeah, it wasn't man, I've never seen anything like last night.
Did you ever see a backlash like this? Not just in the crowd, but by people online.
Not really. I mean, I've seen the smart marks get upset. I mean, that's to be expected. I mean, you're not going to please the smart audience very, often. But I've never seen a crowd just turn like that. I mean, when the kids were booing Rey Mysterio, that shows you something.
Yeah, you actually have to feel sorry for Rey Mysterio last night. He was probably coming out expecting to be cheered, and then when Rey's music hit, you could just hear the crowd were like, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, booyah. What?
What the fuck is that?
Where the fuck is Brian?
Yeah.
And there was just this 10 seconds. And it was just the biggest 10 seconds, I think, in WWE in a long time, where there was no booing, there was no cheering. Everyone was just like, what? There was just dead silence.
They really didn't give us what we really wanted?
See, I know. Let me just address people that actually are trying to defend WWE's decision. It's like if you go to a movie and the movie doesn't have the main character in it at the end.
Yeah. I'm going to see the Avengers. Well, you know Tony Stark's not going to be in it, right?
No, Tony Stark shows up for the first 10 minutes and then just doesn't show up anymore. Or does he get killed? No.
Yeah.
Does he walk away from the Avengers? No. He just doesn't show up. Yeah. He's not booked in the final battle. Even Mick Foley, someone that you have said you don't like, went on a complete rampage last night.
I never said I don't like Mick Foley. I said Mick Foley's not a Hall of Famer. It's different.
I have never seen a backlash like this. But let's get into the Royal Rumble match. And yes, we will review the tag team match, the Wyatt-Bryan match, the Brock Big Show match, and the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match later on this thing. But everyone's talking about this, and me and Brian want to talk about it. Let's start with the Royal Rumble, and we're not going to go through a person by person, elimination by elimination, because quite frankly, we're just not that professional. We're just going to talk about some of our favourite and least favourite moments. And I think where we should start is, what you think of the Kofi Kingston moment this year?
It was kind of one of those things that had to happen,
It was better than last year. It was better than when he hopped on the chair, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest, I did not think he was going to make that jump.
Mm.
I thought he was going
to... And then later on in the night, we had I'm going to dangle by my feet.
Yeah, and hit Jack Swagger with a boot into the face.
Yeah.
Also, I got to say, that NXT rookie that came out, I cannot remember his name now, because last night was the first time I saw him, because unfortunately we don't get NXT anymore over here. I was very impressed with him.
Yeah.
He had a good show. That WWE actually built him up strong, that 3 or 4 guys had to eliminate him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's going to be the next big call-up. At least they did it better than they did with Bo Dallas last year.
Yeah, well, what happened with Bo Dallas is he eliminated Wayne Barrett, and then he had a match with Wayne Barrett, and everyone still believes to this day that was going somewhere. It's just that they didn't like the attitude that Bo Dallas was getting.
Yeah.
He was getting a bit...
Yeah, isn't he still NXT champion?
Well, look where you were a year ago to today. Let's just say last year there was actually talks that Bo Dallas was going to go to WrestleMania, if you remember.
Yeah.
They thought that Wayne Barrett and Bo Dallas would go to WrestleMania. Okay, you're NXT champion. That's a good thing. To be a champion of any wrestling division is a good thing. But a year and you're still in developmental. Like, if you really think that you're going to be big, You should be in developmental for 8 months to a year. He's in NXT for at least 2. People are complaining about JBL being in this Rumble, and I'll be honest, I didn't get the sense of it as well. But why does Corporate Kane get a bye?
Because I guarantee you we're getting Punk Kane at WrestleMania.
I think we're going to get Punk Kane at a Elimination Chamber. No, the reason that I'm saying why was Kane in the Rumble is that Kane could have eliminated Punk by doing that anyway.
Yeah.
And it would have been a bigger shock that Kane came out of nowhere to do that.
Yeah. Well, I told you, man, we should have had, last night, you should have had Daniel Bryan come out and Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan eliminate each other. That way you get Reigns and Bryan at WrestleMania. Have Kane eliminate Punk and have Batista eliminate Sheamus. And everyone would have been happy.
If you want to look at our Facebook page, facebook.com/international podcast, I actually put up what's being talked about in the back as the 6 matches of WrestleMania. And one of them is Daniel Bryan and Sheamus. Now, Brian, I got to ask you, for the year that Daniel Bryan has put in, how much he's got himself over, how much he's worked, does he deserve a bigger spot than Sheamus at WrestleMania?
Yes. He deserves to be at the top of the mountain for WrestleMania.
Where would you have Bryan if you were booked at WrestleMania? Would you have him in the title match or would you have him in the Taker match?
I'd rather have him in the title match. I don't care about Taker Bryan.
Yeah, I think that you're going to have 75,000 people. Apparently that's the number that's going to be the Superdome. You would make Daniel Bryan a made man at WrestleMania if he wins the belt.
Mm-hmm.
There's no 2 ways about this. Daniel Bryan is the most over guy and having wrestling fans in the whole US and Canada. International fans. If you bring Daniel Bryan into that situation and leave him with the belt, you can imagine the reaction, Brian.
Yeah.
He is made it. He is made it. You could go forward, Daniel Bryan. But for some reason, like, you can say what you want about Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar went away. The Rock came back, and he didn't have to come back. Batista left because he wanted to do other things. He failed in all of them, and then he comes back and gets handed the Rumble. What is up with this booking by WWE? There's someone that 4 years ago said, fuck you to the fans, and that PG product is shit, is coming back because I tell you why right now, his buddy is running the show. Brian, I don't care how bad the reaction was last night, and that was the worst I ever heard from a wrestling crowd. I can see WWE being built around Batista.
Well, you can't blame everything on Triple H because Vince still has the final say.
Yeah, but I think Vince always had to say so. He's letting Triple H run with it.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because look at last night. Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair on the panel. New Age Outlaws win the tag titles. Bray Wyatt wins. Every problem with that, me included, but he's still a Triple H guy. Sheamus is in the Final 4, and Batista wins the Royal Rumble. Randy Orton retains the title.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash returns. Was there one Triple H guy last night that didn't fucking get over?
Xbox.
Well, that's supposed to happen at the Elimination Chamber. He's going to win the Elimination Chamber, and the WrestleMania main event will just be all the fucking Triple H's guys come together in a 2-hour draw. Because they'll be all too good for each other. You can't... Are we on the downward spiral of WCW territory here?
No, we're not that far gone, but we're down the road.
Yeah, are we started on the road?
More than likely.
The WWE have to take a massive U-turn here. Do they have to put Bryan into the title match?
I don't know, but they got to do something big, or it's going to be too little, too late.
Yeah, because
Especially with apparently Punk leaving in June 1st.
Punk is leaving for good, but I think Punk is going to take it out a couple of months off.
It's possible.
I think Punk is going to take it out a couple of months off because even he must have been thinking, like, when he was lying down after putting through the table and the crowd were still chanting for Daniel Bryan, even he must be thinking, what the fuck is going on? Because everyone was just in shock. And, like, this is why I hate the commentary team in WWE. They wouldn't even acknowledge the crowd. And then they made fun of the fucking crowd. Saying that, oh, they think WWE World Heavyweight title match.
I mean, Michael Cole, Michael Cole even came out and said, something along the lines of, he's going to WrestleMania, it doesn't care what you think. In
other words, fuck what you all think.
Yeah.
As much as I don't like John Cena, and I'm not jumping to a John Cena defending thing here, as much as I don't like him, I will always say it made sense why WWE was doing what they were doing with him. He brought in ratings, he brought in money, and in fact, I don't like it, but that was the fucking truth. Last night didn't make any business sense. Triple H likes to use on TV best for business. Well, last night was not best for business. Last night was best for the boys in the back for some reason. And then Batista proceeds to go to fans that are pissed off because they wanted to see their guy win the Royal Rumble. Batista, being professional as ever, makes fun of the fans, flips off the fans, makes fun of the yes chant, and laughs walking backstage.
Yeah.
So, in other words, the fans of Pittsburgh not only didn't get their guy winning, didn't even get their guy in the match, they were made fun of by the guy who won the fucking match.
Yeah, and those that were pissed off at home got made fun of by Michael Cole.
Yeah. So, this is the way you're supposed to watch WWE. You will sit down in your hands and knees, they're going to put a second screen up over the ring, and it will come up when you are supposed to cheer, what you're supposed to cheer, what you're supposed to boo, what you're supposed to like, and what you're supposed to hate.
Hey, it's back to MGM Grand.
You don't cheer for this guy anymore because this guy is not supposed to get over. Even though the biggest star of all fucking time, Stone Cold Steve Austin, was never supposed to get over. Never forget that, people. Austin was never turned by WWF at the time. He was turned by the fans. WWF never wanted to make Austin the star that he was.
Yep. If it wasn't for Bret Hart, we wouldn't have had Stone Cold.
Yeah, Bret Hart was the guy who saved Stone Cold. Because Bret Hart had that match, wanted to fight Stone Cold. And the only thing that pisses me off is that in the last week I started watching so much documentaries on Netflix and YouTube about wrestlers and just how smug the WWE guys are. Like, well, in WCW their talents weren't appreciated, but when they came up here, we gave them the platform. They're doing the same fucking thing to Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, and they stuck Stone Cold as the ringmaster. Let's not forget that.
They wanted to make Mick Foley the crippler or something like that?
The mangler.
The mangler. Mm. They stuck Triple H as a butler, I think it was.
No, he was a blue blood.
Was a zombie. And guys, they thought they were going to do something like Arman Johnson that got pushes. They're fucking nodding.
Let's not forget they took Too Cold Scorpio and made him the Flash Funk.
Let's not forget that in the Attitude Era, the WWE didn't have a choice. They had to go with the fans.
Yeah, or they would have lost.
Yeah. But no, WWE don't have to. What are you going to do? Watch TNA?
I was trying to watch TNA this morning before we
TNA
had
is
to do
worse
this
than
god-awful
WWE
podcast.
people. And that's a hard thing to say at this moment, but TNA is worse than WWE. But WWE, it's not the product that's pissing me off, because if truth's going to be told here, anyone that says the last night wasn't a great wrestling pay-per-view is lying, because you got two good matches, you got a good crowd reaction, and hey, that John Cena Randy Orton match, that was probably the best match them two guys ever fucking had, and the Royal Rumble match itself wasn't half bad. But what's pissing people off is that WWE went around and just said, oh, you want that? No, you're going to have this. And not only did they do that, Brian, they proceeded to laugh, pull, and pull at people that wanted different things and say, well, you're not getting that. Fuck you.
Yeah.
As you can hear, people, I don't think I've ever been this pissed off in a long fucking time with WWE. Because if they did what they did last night, that's bad enough. But to actually have Batista act the way he did and Michael Cole.
Yeah, pretty much. Fuck you, fans.
How much was the Royal Rumble in America?
$50.
$50. You're probably going to get 200,000 people paying for that. You paid $50 for WWE to rape you. You should be sent a pack of cigarettes in the mail this morning by WWE.
Yeah.
WWE just pretty much took what you wanted to see and said, no, you're seeing this. And yet again, I think we all kind of understood that Batista was kind of going to win the Royal Rumble. We even said it in our preview show. But when it came closer, Brian, to the show, did it start dawning on you that, hey, they have to run with Brian? Or it's not that they have to, but like, it makes so much sense to run with Brian. Like, Batista doesn't need to be in the main event. Batista's not going to sell you a WrestleMania.
Yep.
Nobody's going to turn around in a month's time or 6 weeks' time and say, do you want to go to WrestleMania? Well, who's in the main event? Randy Orton and Batista. By Christ, we have to go.
Yep.
I'd be honest.
I mean, we all knew Batista was going to win, but all we wanted was Daniel Bryan in it at one point.
And hey, isn't that a way you could turn Batista heel?
I guess. I don't know.
Batista has
I don't know what.
I think there's no way back for Batista after last night. Not just the way the crowd reacted to him, because you could get over that. Faces got reactions like that before and recover, but it was the bullshit way he reacted.
Yeah.
You cannot recover Batista as a face.
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't even think they know what they're going to do at this point.
Yeah.
All I can say is fuck you, WWE.
I'll be honest with you. I would hate to be WWE creative this morning, because something has to be done. They cannot run forward with this, Brian.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
They're going to end up with a WrestleMania main event that's going to get shit on. And I'm not trying to be polite or politically correct. I am being straight honest. If the main event of WrestleMania 30 is Randy Orton and Batista, that match is getting shit on.
Yeah.
That would be an embarrassment for WWE, that at the grandest stage of them all, because you know WWE love to invite people to come from all walks of life in New Orleans. Like the governor will probably be there, the mayor will probably be there. And if they're sitting there watching the main event and the crowd are saying boring and bullshit and we want Brian, that's not going to leave a great impact, is it?
Yeah. But they got the ad revenue and the sales revenue for the state. Bobby Jindal doesn't care about what happens in Louisiana. Trust me on that one.
I just think it'll be an embarrassment. An absolute embarrassment if you go to WrestleMania. The biggest match of the year, and I don't give a fuck what anyone says about any other day. The biggest match of the year is the closing match of WrestleMania. If you can ever be in that match, you made it as a wrestler. And if it's Randy Orton and Batista, it'd be a disgrace.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my rant over about that. I think that's the worst I ever got on the show, people. Let's go back to the pre-show. You had the New Age Outlaws winning their 6th WWE Tag Team Championship as they defeated Goldust and Cody Rhodes. I have no problem with Goldust and Cody Rhodes dropping the belts because I think it was time, but I have a problem with who they dropped it to. It's not just that they're Triple H's buddy, it's just that the tag team division was actually getting a bit ahead of steam, and this is who you decide to drop it to. It just made no sense, Brian.
Well, they're going to transition those titles kind of quick, I believe, over to like the Usos from one face to the next.
Yeah, well, see, that's where you could kind of let this go, because a lot of people were saying online that, hey, this was just to give New Age Outlaws their moment. Like, how much times did people come back and they were given belts? It's not like it's a big deal. The only thing that fears me is I don't want to see the New Age Outlaws at the WrestleMania card.
Yeah, unless they're going in the Hall of Fame.
They're going to go in as DX. They won't get their moment at all. Overall,
I don't know. I think because they are friends with Triple H that they will get their independent moment.
Yeah. What they should just do is pay that radio interview that I sent you a couple of weeks ago where they proceed to call Triple H a dickhead, a fucker, a wanker, everything under the sun.
Yeah.
And people, if you don't believe me, just type in War New Age Outlaws into Google, and there's actually an interview that was conducted with the New Age Outlaws in 2006 where actually Road Dogg said that he went head-to-head at one stage with Triple H.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you would call them such good buddies, and who can forget the stuff they did in TNA, VKM.
Yeah.
Overall, what do you think of this match? I know a lot of people were giving out about the ending, but if you're just judging on the match.
Didn't see it.
I saw it. It wasn't bad. I'm not going to be one of these guys because I didn't like the outcome and say it was bullshit. It wasn't a bad match. It was as good as you want to get out of the New Age Outlaws.
Yeah.
The pay-per-view started with Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt. That was fucking awesome.
Eventually, I'm going to get around and watch it because we had issues with the feeds last night.
Whoa. That was the first time outside of a WrestleMania that a PG crowd has said this is awesome and it deserved it. This was not just like a 2-star match and the crowd were saying this is awesome because Daniel Bryan was in it. No, this was a 5-star match. Between the holds, the submissions, the athleticism, the comebacks, the kickouts, even that finishing move that put Bryan straight through the railing. Like that, this is what wrestling's about. That whole 20 minutes was brilliant.
Hmm.
It was the most enjoyment I had watching wrestling in a hell of a long time. I tell you that now. In a hell of a long time, I never enjoyed a wrestling match like that. And you could bring up SummerSlam, but hey, that was a no-holds-bar match between CM Punk and Brock Lesnar. But this match here, oh my God, how good was it? It was just, even this early, it's match of the year candidate. Even this early. We're not even out the first month, people, and I still think that this will be up there, match of the year. This match would be very hard to top.
Yeah. You gotta love having a match of the year candidate in January, though, because by the time December rolls around, 90% of everybody's forgotten about it.
I don't think this match will fall victim to that. This match, the crowd were special. The two guys in the... Like, you had Daniel Bryan, the guy that wanted to prove why he was getting so much reaction. And Bray Wyatt did something that not a lot of rookies did, because let's not forget, this was Bray Wyatt's first one-on-one match of the pay-per-view. Big time match, no. And he delivered. You see so much of these guys come up from NXT, and not just NXT, people that re-sign or sign for the first time and they're brought up and they're given this push, and then they finally make it into a big time match of the pay-per-view and they fall flat. Bray Wyatt didn't fall flat last night, and the crowd respected that.
Yeah.
The best thing to try and surmise what this match was like, it was like Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit from the Royal Rumble 2003. With the crowd reaction, the crowd just respected both men that were in the ring, Brian.
Mm.
We move on to... can we actually call this a match?
You're referring to the Big Show getting hit by steel chairs, a la Bret Hart, Vince McMahon,
or The Rock, Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what they were doing. I actually get what they were doing. They were trying to make Brock Lesnar into this beast, but Christ almighty, if I had a steel chair and I hit Big Show that much, wouldn't I look like an animal?
I don't know, I've seen your Facebook photo lately. You do kind of look animalish.
Yeah, that's because I'm actually growing my hair out. No, what I'm actually saying, Brian, is if you want to build Brock Lesnar up into being this big animal sadistic motherfucker that would take on anybody, why would you give him a steel chair? Couldn't anyone beat anybody with a steel chair?
Are you interested in knowing what WWE.com has listed as the 5 greatest moments from this year's Royal Rumble?
Hit it, Brian. Oh, no. What we do is I just want to finish up talking on this match, and then you can hit
Okay.
off.
You go right ahead and finish up talking. Go ahead.
It made no sense. It was pointless with the chair. The F5 was good. Don't get me wrong, the F5 was good. Overall, it's just that, like, why did you have to put that on the pay-per-view? Couldn't that have been done on a Raw? So, Brian, what's our top 5?
The top 5 coolest moments from Royal Rumble, according to WWE.com. Alexander Rusev makes his debut. Kofi Kingston's leap of faith. The Celtic Warrior is back. Roman Reigns fractures the record. And the Animal Batista's conquest.
Yeah, I don't think we even have to acknowledge how bullshit that is. Following Brock Lesnar's torture of the Big Show, I guess that's the other way to put it, is it, Brian?
What was it, 36 chair shots with 4 different chairs?
Yeah, I think somebody actually clogged it online. I didn't see what it was, but I think it was clogged online somewhere.
It was a lot better than the last time those 2 men at the Royal Rumble, I think 2003.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry the King Dolph, for proving that yet again you do not know anything. Brock Lesnar wasn't even in WWE in 2002, Royal Rumble. His first defeat came in Survivor Series 2002, the Big Show. Know your fucking research, you stupid old man. Maybe if he stopped getting so much fucking heart attacks, he may be able to do his job.
Alright, let's move on.
Yeah, to the WWE World Championship match. And I said it earlier, this is probably the best match these two guys had on a pay-per-view, but that's still not saying fucking much.
That's like saying that's the best Whopper that Burger King's ever put out. You know, it's all stale and put out all the time, so
yeah.
Wasn't that great of a match.
It wasn't. Don't get me wrong, people. It's not like I'm saying that this match was awesome. It's just that it was probably the best you're going to get out of these two.
Yeah,
like
and not to mention the fact that Randy Orton was making fun of the Wyatts before, that the Wyatts still came and helped him. It makes a lot of sense.
No, I actually think that what was actually happening there, the road they were going down, was actually what was addressed on commentary. If you go back and you look at it, the Wyatts stood around the ring and Cena attacked Bray first. The Wyatts made no intention to attack John Cena. John Cena threw the first punch. It's like Han shot first. Well, Cena shot first.
Of course Han shot first. Did you expect Greedo to shoot first?
Look at the crowd. Yet again, this is what really pisses me off with WWE. The crowd shit on this. people online were shitting on this. If you looked at hashtag rematch, which Mikey Cole kept telling us to do, you could see that people were shitting on this. And yet these two guys would still get fucking push after push. It's just...
Yeah.
Overall, this match, as I said, overall this match wasn't the worst these two guys did. Like, go back to their Iron Man match, go back to their I Quit matches, go back to their... God, they had so much bullshit matches. This is probably the best match these two guys ever had. At least the crowd were into this match, which you don't usually say about a Randy Orton John Cena match. Right, this is why we need to end once and for all.
I hope so.
I
really, really hope so. I'm so blooming sick of Randy Orton and John Cena versus each other.
Yeah,
I really am.
When you sit down and you watch wrestling shows and documentaries and interviews, you always hear about this thing called chemistry. That was, as much as me and you are not big fans of Randy Orton, we can admit, and John Cena, we can admit that sometimes these guys have good matches against other people. But do you just think it's a situation that these two guys actually have just no chemistry with each other in the ring?
I think they have chemistry. It's just, we've seen it all so many times. There's nothing new you can do without, possibly, I don't know, setting one of them on fire that's going to get any reaction.
Yeah, and yet
it's been done to death, and we didn't get any closure on who was driving the car Monday. I was expecting, someone to show up.
Maybe it was the Wyatts.
I don't think they would be driving a Hyundai.
Well, you get great gas to the mileage.
Yeah, but I imagine they're like a pickup truck with dog kennels in the back for Rowan and Harper to ride in.
I just got to say one thing to WWE. If you're going to do a storyline where someone assaults someone else's father, at least make it make sense of the match. Randy Orton pretty much victimized John Cena's dad. And John Cena came out laughing, doing his same shit, smiling, dancing. It's like, dude, come on.
Okay. Are we ready?
Finally, we're at the Royal Rumble match yet again, people. This is just a review of the match in general because we already went through the thing with Daniel Bryan at the start.
Roman Reigns eliminated everybody. There wasn't really any good spots in the match, and the match was over with.
Do you think that Roman Reigns stepped up last night?
Oh, he stepped up, but he did exactly what everyone expected him to do, and he was rewarded with gave Batista a concussion on that spear because it looked like Batista had a concussion. Just that long look in his eyes after, he got that spear.
Yeah, it's not like that he did what everyone expected he was going to do. Like, don't get me wrong, everyone expected him to be the dominant force in this Royal Rumble. Him or Big E Langston, who, in my opinion, had a very poor show in the Royal Rumble. I expected bigger things from Big E. It's how well he did it. He really stepped up to the mark. There was people before that was given that position in the Royal Rumble and just didn't deliver, boy.
Yeah. They've kind of given up on Big E. I mean, it's just, they don't seem to care anymore.
Well, man, the guy has the charisma of a fucking wet blanket. What do you expect? He really has absolutely no charisma. Like, B. Lansing is not someone you can move forward and say, well, that guy's going to draw money. Big E will draw people away from the fucking ring. He was never going... The only reason Big E got where he was is because he was John Cena's gym buddy. Were you surprised we didn't get a return this year? Like, okay, we got Sheamus, but I think me and you both said on the preview that we were expecting Sheamus. You got Kevin Nash, but let's face it, Kevin Nash is not going to be back full time. Except for Sheamus, there was no really return.
You got Sheamus, you got Batista, you got Nash.
But Batista
with
came.
with NWO
Batista
music
came
for some.
back. Batista came back on Raw. There was no shock. Sheamus is the only one. Like, Kevin Nash is not going to be there next tonight or even next week.
Don't say that. You never can tell. So, besides, we got to gear up for tonight's big return on WWE television. The debut of a new star.
Oh.
Someone that no one has seen since WCW closed its doors. A man called Sting.
Yeah, I actually heard reports that he would be back. He's coming tonight.
Yeah. So, which, if that's the case, then TNA really should have made sure he had a no-compete clause at the end of his contract.
Yeah, but I think TNA are the kind of company that realize, why do that? Why cost someone a WrestleMania payday?
Yeah. TNA needs to stop making stars ready for WWE. That's their biggest issue right now. I mean, every star that's left the company has turned around and left on a high note. You know, so
Christian,
I understand why.
Where is Christian actually? And saying that, where the fuck is Evan Bourne? Is Evan Bourne dead? And WWE are just trying to cover it up. He'd be back. He'd be back.
No, he posted something last night. I'll see if I can find it for the close up.
And where the fuck is Tyson Kidd? Is he still injured?
He's on, main event, I think.
See, that's what I was saying on the preview, Sean. I know you disagree with me, but I think WWE are big enough at the moment to have a 40-man Rumble.
Yeah. Evan Bourne tweeted about not making his return at the Royal Rumble tonight. Don't worry, friends and followers. I'm still marching head on towards my @WWE comeback. I truly appreciate the support. It's why I do this.
What do you mean?
He's hiding in the back with JTG.
What do you mean this is why I do this? You haven't done it in nearly 2 fucking years.
Yeah.
How long is Evan Bourne out?
I couldn't tell you the last time he had a match. That wasn't like a live.
We were having a conversation last night on Twitter, on Facebook, people, and I still can't believe JTG's actually still employed by WWE.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did this guy go?
Let's see. In March 2012, Corcoran was involved in a car accident which broke his foot in 4 places.
Fucking hell, that is a long
Let's see. He had on January 15, 2012, Air Boom lost the tag team championship to Primo and Epico at a house show. The following night on Raw, Air Boom was awarded a rematch but failed to regain the championship. The following day, Bourne was suspended for 60 days for his failure of a wellness test. So he has not had a match since January 16, 2012.
Yeah, 2 years.
He returned to wrestling on March 28, 2013 at an NXT Live event. That was the last time.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So apparently he's been ready to come back since March of last year.
What are they doing with this guy?
Paying him a paycheck.
I don't even say that it's over wellness, because if that's the case, why is Randall Keith Orton your WWE World Heavyweight Champion?
Because they're not going to drug test Randall Keith Orton ever again.
Yeah, I actually believe there was someone that tried to drug test him last month, and that guy was duly shown the door. That's why Randy Orton, I say, just drives in 5 minutes before his match and then just drives straight away after it. That's why that's why they wrote that into Raw. I say on Monday there was a drug test after the show. Just go, Randy. Just get the fuck out of here.
Okay, folks. That's a look at our Royal Rumble 2014.
If you're going to judge it without the Daniel Bryan issues, what would you give it? Do not take the Daniel Bryan issues into consideration.
C.
I give it a B-, but without the Daniel Bryan, but with the Daniel Bryan, it's a big F. F you to the fans. And F you, WWE.
All right, folks. We'll be back Wednesday with news, reviews, and everything else in between.
never fear death or dying. I only fear never trying. I am whatever I am. Only God can judge me now. One shot, everything rides on tonight. Even if I got 3 strikes, I'ma go for it. This moment, we own it. I'm not to be played with because it can get dangerous. See these people I ride with. This moment, we own it. And the same ones that I ride with be the same ones that I die with. Put it all out on the line with. If you look